Hey, this is Kohaku, from a friend of your Imaginary Goddess, and I am doing a Tsukiyomi Susanoo Generation G deck profile. So my starter is Godhawk Ichibiyoshi. It's the starter of the Tsukiyomi ride chain. So auto at the beginning of your ride phase, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and search for up to 1 card named Goddess of the Crescent Moon Tsukiyomi, so the grade 1 of the ride chain, and ride it. But if you ride from this ability, you cannot ride during your ride. You pretty much cannot normal ride. But if you miss it, you can ride something else, and the 5 cards or less go to the bottom of your deck in any order that you like. So it's an Oracle Think Tank deck that starts the just stacking to know what your late game play is. So it's good if you can remember everything. So for my zeros, so for my triggers, I run 4 Lozen's Magus because of the Oracle Think Tank. When it boosts, it becomes a 6k booster, and at the end of the turn, you return it to the deck. So returning heals are pretty good. The only downfall in this deck is that it messes up the stack to the bottom of the deck. So it's really right now just for like dire situations where you really need heals, and you know that the 4 that are supposed to be in your deck are in your hand right now. So you can boost with them, send them back to the deck, and yeah. So they're pretty good with that, and they're 10k shields, of course. So I run no draws. I run 12 crit triggers. So I run Battle Sister Ginger, Assault Dive Eagle, and Psychic Bird. Psychic Bird is a crit trigger that you can put it in Soul, and you can draw a card. The other clan that has one of these is Granblue, but it's really good, especially in OTT, because you get draw, and it's just, it also helps with Tsukiyomi, the grade 3, because you need 6 or more in Soul, and it helps you get that like 1 card that you need to get everything going. So yeah, that's the triggers. So for grade 1s, I run Amenos Sajiri, the new G Perfect Guard, to where it can only guard the Vanguard, but if you have a copy in the drop zone, it can unflip damage when you use it. This deck is very counterblast heavy, due to Tsukiyomi being counterblast 2, Stride being Takumi Kazuchi's being counterblast 2, Susanoo having a counterblast 1. It's just really good to have on flippers. And he's a perfect guard, so that's good. I run 4 Goddess of the Crescent Moon Tsukiyomi, so the 1 of the ride chain. It has the same ability as Godhawk, except it's searching for the 2. And if you ride due to this effect, you can't normal ride, and you put the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck. So it helps get that even more stat going. She is a 7k and does not get bigger than a 7k. It's not that type of ride chain. Oh, and Godhawk stays in the soul, no matter if you ride the Tsukiyomi over him or not. So I run 4 Anamarikrimo. He is the stride fodder and the he is the OTT stride fodder and the searcher for Susanoo. So it's good for getting to your 3s, thinning your deck, but again, he shuffles, so in this OTT deck you don't really want to shuffle, so you want to avoid using him as much as possible. But it helps you with strides and such, so that's a good thing. And then I run 3 Imperial Guard Sunadiri, or Susanoo. The new 8K, much better than Gemini. Much better than Gemini, at least I think so, at least art-wise. And I run 3 because 8Ks are good, especially when you run 8K grade 2, so you can actually hit your numbers. So for 2s, now that I was saying something about them, I run 4 Silent Tom. Because what is an Oracle Think Tank deck without Silent Tom? So Tom, of course, is an old card, originally from BT2, getting a reprint in EB5, which I prefer the art from EB5, but he is, of course, on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle. When this unit attacks, if you have an Oracle Think Tank Vanguard, your opponent cannot normal call grade 0s to the guard circle. So if their hand gets really cluttered up with those triggers that they've been hitting against you all game, they can't really use them in this attack. When you get an 8K booster behind him, he hits that big magic number of 16. That's really important in this era of 11Ks. So it's harder for them to block the 10K guards. But one of his big downfalls is, okay, I put all 3 crit triggers that I hit for my stride on him. Cool, he's a 31 triple crit. Can you guard it? Yeah, I have a perfect guard. So he's not Glory, Idgarsil, Sinbuster, or any of those, but he's still Tom, a signature OTT card that is really good. So then we have the really important Tsukiyomi grade 2, Goddess of the Half Moon. She has the ability that when she rides over the 1, if you have everything in soul when she rides over, so the 1 and the 0, you can soul charge 2, because you need 6 in soul for grade 3 Tsuki's ability. She has the same ability as the grade 1 and the grade 2, that you search the top cards of your deck, the top 5 for the next grade, so the grade 3, the full moon. And if you ride, you can't normal ride, and then you put the rest of the cards in the bottom of the deck. So you're getting a lot of stack. So by this, you'll have about from 12 to 15 cards at the bottom of your deck, so it's pretty good. Just getting it stacked through there. And then I run 2 Diviner yeah, I'm bad at names, sorry. He is the G-Break 1. When it attacks the Vanguard, he becomes a 12K, but only when he attacks the Vanguard, unlike many archetypes that get 3K just for having a certain Vanguard, and then you can attack a rear guard and it becomes 12. These can only attack Van to become a 12K, but they can still attack rears just being a 9. But I run them because it's good for just that extra little power boost if you ever need it. Since this is a stride heavy deck, you're going to be hitting D-Break 1 really often. Then for 3s, I run the all-important Goddess of the Full Moon, Tsukiyomi. So Tsukiyomi is a base 11K in a ride chain, but she has the continuous on Rearguard and Vanguard if you do not have the grade 2, the grade 1, or the 0 in soul. She becomes a 9K Vanguard and Rearguard. So this big 11K that you just spent all of your time getting out is now a 9. So there was a lot of problems back a while ago when if you missed the 1 or the 2, you were pretty much screwed. You had to find some way of getting it back, or you just didn't ride until you got it. And it was just a really tough time when you're sitting there looking like an 11K and just being a 9. but her activated ability is that you can counterblast 2 if you have 6 or more in soul. You can draw 2 cards, and then you can put a card from your hand into soul. The big thing is that if you hit the chain and you actually go from 0 to 1 to 2, when you get to 2, when you ride, you soul charge 2, but then when you get to 3, you'll only have 5 cards in soul. So you have to have some other way of getting the 6th card in soul. So you can either use the crit trigger, or you might have misrode and then rerode. So things, so that's something that you can do. Or the new Tsukiyomi stride that came out in the Fighter Collection, which I'll explain later, really helps the chain. And then the other star of the deck is from GB1, is Supreme Heavenly Battle Deity Susanoo. So this is all grown up Susanoo from being an Amaterasu 12k attacker to now being his own grade 3 that does a bunch of stuff. So he's the break stride that's currently out for Oracles. So when you stride over him, you can counterblast 1, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 in hand, put 1 on the bottom. So he, of course, Oracle's big thing is getting hand, and then his G-Break 2 is during your turn, if the number of cards in your hand is 4 or more, gets +5 and a crit. So just like a lot of old Oracle cards, like the original CEO Amaterasu, if you only have, say, 2 cards in your hand when you attack with him, the 2 cards that you get from your drive checks count as during your turn. So the power gets added, so once you do your second drive check, it's like you have hit your extra trigger, so he would get that 5. So people watch out if you're playing against it and they only have a few cards in their hand, that if they hit 4, that magic number, he'll get a 5k and an extra crit. So that's Susanoo. The strides that I run currently, I might switch it up to where I still run Kirin maybe, but right now I run Sword Deity of Thunderbreak Takumi Kazuchi. He is the RRR Oracle Stride from GBTO1. Sorry. He is the Counterblast 2 Persona Stride him. If you have 2 or more, so he can be your first stride, but you really don't want him to be your first stride. But because he requires 2 face-up cards in the G-Zone to do his ability, he lets you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, add 2 of them to your hand, and then put 2 on the bottom. So, like the rest of the Suki chain, you're getting a bunch of stack on the bottom, and you're getting through your deck. So you're gonna hit your stack like really quickly. Unless you've shuffled and then your stack is just kind of gone. But yeah, he's really good, and he's just helps getting that hand that you need. And then I run 4 Moon Deity who governs the night, Tsukiyomi. So this is the Oracle GR from the new G Fighter Collection 2015, and it is the Tsukiyomi support. So once per turn, you can choose a face-down copy of this card, so Persona Stride. Turn it face up, and if you have a Tsukiyomi in your heart, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Well, you put a Tsukiyomi from your hand into your soul. And then you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck for up to 2 cards among them, put them into your hand, and then put them on the bottom in any order. So it's pretty much like Takumi Kazuchi, except it looks for the top 5, and it helps with the Tsuki support. So, say that you've stridden over Tsukiyomi, and you have missed the 1. So you're kind of, well, not kind of, you are sad right now because you were a 9K. The thing is that when you stride over Tsukiyomi, strides take base card power. So you're getting the plus 11, not plus 9. So say that in your hand you have all 4 copies of the Tsukiyomi 1 and you just feel sad. So now that you can stride, you can become a new 11K and you have everything in Soul that you need. So it helps, it really, really helps the ride chain if you miss it. But you need to have Tsukiyomis in your hand to get it done. So that's something that could hold you back, or if you just get all of the Tsukiyomi in your soul, or in your hand. And it doesn't have to be the 1, it can be the 1, 2, or 3, because they're the Tsukiyomis that you run in your deck. So, yeah, that is the Tsukiyomi Susanoo G-Stride deck. Thanks for watching!